We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now, our World Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and a Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 179 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan. You can find me on Twitter at EthanM85. You can find James at
JHW Reporter.
And you can find Rob at
Rob Flores Media. And don't forget the R-Truth DMs. And isn't Braun Breaker going to tell you something for taking his belt?
Look, Braun Breaker's got nothing on me. I've got, look at this. I even got, it's a fanny pack. It's a fanny pack. I got it on sale. Can you see it?
That's cool.
That's
cool.
Nice little fanny pack there. NXT Championship. So
I've never seen that before. That's pretty cute. That's pretty cute.
They have, I think, a Universal title one and a WWE title one there as well.
They come in different colors or anything, or
I think they're all black. Maybe the Universal, maybe, I don't know.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. That's still good though. Looks good.
Got it on sale. You got to hit up those sales on WWE Shop, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't pay full price for things, so.
I mean, if they're always having some sort of sales, so I blame you for waiting and picking your spot.
Mm-hmm. First and foremost, let's acknowledge our tribal chief. There he is, right there, the head of the table. Throw it up. Throw up those ones. Throw up those ones. James, you have anything to say? You see, under the weather. I know you.
I am. There won't be very many high spots for me today. Yes, I'm glad you guys can continue to acknowledge Roman Reigns. But it's been a fun week, obviously, with the Royal Rumble and everything going on. Should be fun.
Yeah, we'll get into more Rumble talk a little bit later in the show. As this airs, it'll probably be post Rumble, but it's all right. We'll give our final predictions via Twitter. We did give our predictions on the last episode, kind of loose predictions, but our final predictions will be on Twitter. We'll give more detailed kind of predictions, including like the first two entrants, maybe in the final four and stuff like that. So we'll do that over on Twitter. I'll make sure to get your guys' info, and we'll post that this weekend. Luckily I have it off. I'm excited, looking forward to a good Rumble this Saturday. Should be fun for sure.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm gonna be live tweeting as well. I always do, regardless of what's going on. When is the Royal Rumble? Is the Royal Rumble on Saturday or Sunday?
It's gonna be on Saturday this year.
It will be on Saturday. Okay, good, because obviously the Rams are gonna be playing the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. Unfortunately for Ethan and his boy Tom Brady, getting a little older, not making the cut the way he used to back in the day. Obviously a very well decorated champion in his own right, but couldn't get over the hump against the LA Rams. The LA Rams return back home to SoFi, of which will be hosting WrestleMania in a couple years, and hopefully we are together for that. So should be fun, and just looking forward to a busy sports weekend.
Boo.
What are you going about?
I hope the Niners crush the Rams. Tom Brady's not getting older. Wasn't he behind like up to 20 over more than 20 points, and he caught up? They let them catch up. You know, Tom Brady's.
Yes, this is true.
It's all right. It was a closer game. It's all right. You know,
I'll give him some credit. I mean, he held his own. I mean, but you know, it's no longer his time anymore. He got to give it up.
Don't think so. I think he's got more left in him. But I mean, let's talk about some other older guys, some veterans that might be seeing their way out of the NXT brand. I'm wearing this NXT championship here. Over the last couple of weeks, there have been reports, various sources, stating that several names, including Tommaso Ciampa and Pete Dunne, have been having some dark matches, potentially even on main event, which you can watch, I believe, still on Hulu. I've got to get to watching some of those. And then this past week, Roderick Strong and LA Knight have apparently been there. Say it with me, James. He's frozen. He is frozen down We're having.
I'm frozen. I'm
There he is.
frozen.
There he is. He's alive.
They
and
don't want me
well.
to have my moment. Here we go. You ready?
Stay with me,
Here we
James.
go.
L.A. Knight.
There we go.
Yeah.
He's over, brother.
He got that little rub with the Dirty Dogs. I think Roger Strong was also in that little bit.
I don't know if that. I don't know if I think he was maybe more so giving them the rub.
I think you're right on that. I think he was giving them he was acknowledging them, giving them, hey, look, I'll give you that LA Knight rub there, and I think we're gonna be seeing them in the Rumble. I think we're gonna. That's one of my predictions. So we'll talk more about that LA Knight. I think there were also some, I guess, statistics, if you will, some win-loss records. I believe LA Knight and Tommaso Ciampa were the only two that have not been pinned. Out of those four having a dark match, I believe Pete Dunne is like 3-1 or 2-1, and then Roderick Strong, he has lost all of his dark matches. So,
yikes. But I mean, but maybe would you? He kind of falls maybe in that worker category, right? I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing him winning the championship.
So I think I was thinking about this. I've been seeing some people's tweets, kind of people comparing them to maybe some superstars of today, like where they would land on the card. We're seeing someone like a Ciampa, maybe like a Finn Balor type role, where he's like 50-50. Unfortunately, Balor, I mean, I think you would agree Balor probably should be more in the main event scene. But he's, the way he's booked, it's kind of 50-50. Pete Dunne maybe is somewhere in the mid card, honestly, and someone like LA Knight looking like maybe potentially upper mid card, maybe the Miz level, as I was thinking. Someone who could be. I could see various roles. He could cut a great promo, a good solid worker, and he can be used in different roles. And someone like Roger Strong, maybe like a Cesaro, I was thinking. He's a reliable worker, and maybe from time to time could end up being a champion. Cesaro is a decorated champion. He's won several titles. So, not a bad spot to be in, but maybe someone who's just used as a reliable worker to help maybe get other guys over.
I think you're kind of spot on with some of those. I can get behind some of those. Maybe a notch or two below Cesaro for me, maybe with Roddy Strong there. But I think Pete Dunne, maybe Vince will see his size as a little bit of an issue, maybe. But I think he has the opportunity to be a little bit. What'd you say? Mid card, upper mid card?
I said mid card for him, playing it safe. I'm not saying. Look, I would love to see all these guys be in the main event, because we've seen what they could do in NXT. They're all very talented individuals, but realistically, like, it's gonna take something. It's gonna take something for them to get kind of moved up to that level. I think Ciampa is a great storyteller, but if they don't give him that time to tell stories, he's just kind of another worker. That's the problem with Ciampa.
But that's the thing. Does he want to be there? Like, I mean, that's been the whole thing with Ciampa, is like, him and Gargano both don't want to be there. Right. Gargano is obviously sitting out for the time being. Wherever his status may actually be, but he's ducking this situation for now. But Ciampa, they've kind of made it clear, at least it's kind of been out there, that they don't want to be on the main card just because they've seen what's happened. And I don't know, maybe see Ciampa break through that mold, or maybe he's one among the next group of guys released just because things aren't working out. But I think you're totally right. If you give him the right story and you give him something to work with, I think he can do good stuff for you.
Something to note: Ciampa did dye his beard.
You gotta say that a little faster. You said Ciampa dyed his hair. I'm like, God.
Well, he dyed his hair. He didn't die. He says, we're talking about him. He's good. But no, he dyed his beard. It was, there was a lot of gray, if you would notice. He dyed it very brown. And so, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's trying to look a little younger. He's only 36 years old. He looks older because
I thought he was maybe a little older,
But he's
probably been wrestling for a while though.
He's had a lot of wear and tear, without a doubt. So hopefully maybe dyeing his beard makes him fit the molds that they were kind of wanting from him. I don't know. I haven't seen anything else from Dunn, Strong, and Knight. I know they all appeared on NXT 2.0, which we'll briefly discuss in a little bit as well. So they're not finished there, but who knows? Very soon they could be getting that call up.
But with this group, so again, let's just look at them a little bit more here.
Mhm.
Who do you think has the best chance of maybe getting lost in the shuffle and falling into that funny haha gimmick very quickly?
I hate to say it, but it's probably Roderick Strong.
Yes, but I'm also thinking that there's a very good chance that can happen to Pete Dunne.
It could.
Unfortunately, I think there's a very good chance for whatever reason.
His style, I don't know. His style might
And,
keep him from that.
but does he give a lot of personality? I feel like the ones that don't show personality, they're going to try and find a way, or at least they want to see what kind of personality he has or can offer.
Maybe
And that's something we haven't seen. Huh?
Maybe they just want to keep him serious because obviously Pete Dunne's gimmick has always been very serious, kind of, no
I
nonsense.
mean,
Maybe they like that. Maybe Vince does see something.
yes.
In that. No, maybe I don't know.
Yes, but again, one, you haven't. This is really now he's going to be under Vince's is supervision more so than he has been at any other point, and he's been at his highest under Triple H and everybody else. But he's a good worker, but I think he's going to say, yeah, but what else, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with him, maybe. But I think he's kind of like what Taz was, not just because of their size, maybe because of their size, but super serious. They may try to see what else he can offer. I mean, does he have a long career? Sure. But, he's still kind of young too.
20,
I think.
28, 29. He's the youngest out of all of them. So if anyone has, time to kind of develop, it's him.
Yeah.
He's got the most, I don't know. I did see him. I'm still behind on NXT 2.0, but I did see a picture. He did have a cricket bat, I believe, yesterday on NXT 2.0. I think he's still feuding with Tony D'Angelo. So I don't know. Maybe that's where we're gonna get at. Carrying around a cricket bat on main roster. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe that's what you're talking about there.
I mean, that would be new to me, but at the same time, not surprised.
Not surprising. So yeah, just a little update on them. I think there's a good chance we'll see maybe a couple of them, if not all of them, in the Rumble this weekend or very soon on main roster television, Raw or SmackDown. So,
and is Walter kind of in this mix here?
Gunther.
Maybe
his
being
name is
moved up
Gunther. It's great. I think James Froze once again, the gimmick. He's just the frozen gimmick here on today's episode. But that's all right. We're talking Gunther, who is formerly known as Walter, as hopefully James. There you are. You're back.
Mm-hmm.
So what about Gunther, as he's now referred
to? Oh, that's not what they're saying?
He has changed his gimmick. He's changed his name.
I mean, I know we kind of talked about it, but now that U is very strong in that name. Anyways, as I was saying, if his mother named him Walter, I'm calling him Walter. Do you think there's a chance he's in this Royal Rumble? I wasn't he having some dark matches or some main event matches with like Ciampa and Roddy Strong? I thought.
I did not hear that he was.
I thought that was a thing.
It's potential. I missed this.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear. I only heard the four names we had discussed. But maybe he did. I would not be surprised if Vince does want him up. Obviously, now that he has stepped away from NXT UK, a couple of years ago we heard reports that he didn't want to move to the States. He wanted to stay in UK, but obviously that has changed. I'm sure a raise and maybe some perks helped change that. In addition to that, it looks like they copyrighted his name. Obviously, so I'm sure he didn't want to give up the name Walter for WWE's copyright. So obviously that's why now we're calling him Gunther or Gunther. I don't hate it. I think the way he says it works.
I'd have to listen to him say it, but all right.
it fits more than an American accent. Like you got to say it in his accent. So I think it works. But anyways,
I guess.
speaking of NXT 2.0, apparently some executives aren't too very pleased with how 2.0 has been perceived or how it's been going. It's not the way they would have thought it has, they wanted it to go. So, I mean, it's not terribly surprising, in my opinion. You kind of just do a 180, get rid of some of the top talent and expect fans to kind of go with the flow here. I mean, so I know some fans are appreciating the 2.0 aspect. I don't think it's terrible. I just think maybe they did it. I just think they did it like too suddenly. I think a smooth transition would have worked better rather than just 1 week you're NXT and then next week you're 2.0, new stage, you introduce all these new characters right away. You can tell you're already getting rid of people left and right. It's too much too soon. And quickly before we go to commercial break, I will say apparently Shawn Michaels, according to Dave Meltzer, is being loved by everyone and the executives. They don't plan on getting rid of him. Of course, Triple H's guys, a number of them have been released. Shawn Michaels is that kind of one constant that's been running NXT 2.0 since Triple H has been out, and apparently they're liking his work. So that's good to hear. Of course, Shawn Michaels, not surprisingly, has a great mind for the business. So it's just interesting to note there.
No, I think you're right though, and it is a bit of a sudden change, and this feeling, this kind of where are we going with this? Kind of reminds me of kind of like when I first stopped watching some of that NXT 1.0 there a little bit. I think when, not because of Ciampa and Gargano, but as they were starting to take over and you had Shinsuke and Finn kind of head out, it was kind of like, wow, they got rid of all the big superstars. Where are they going with this, or what's going on? Like there was no Joe, it was just kind of all this newness. But now they have a name on it and everything, so it's a little bit different. But I think they'll overcome it somehow.
I'm sure they will. I think they've already committed to it, and going back on that, I mean, it's a little too late. So with that being said, when we return, we'll talk about some names that someone that currently works for 2.0 that wants out of 2.0, in addition to someone else who has a trending hashtag for himself. All that and more right here on episode 179 of Beyond the Ropes. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 179 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and producer, Rob Flores. You can find me on Twitter at Ethan995. You can find James at
JHW Reporter.
And you can find Rob at
Rob Flores Media. And don't forget the R-Truth DMs for Ethan.
Nowhere to be seen on this week's episode of Raw, I believe. No. You can find us on Twitter collectively at RealBTR Radio. I'll be trying to maybe live tweet a little bit along with James on that account this weekend. So I'll try. I like to watch the show in peace and stuff, but we'll see. I'll throw in a few tweets here and there. Also, Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes. You'll find previous episodes uploaded there, as well as YouTube. Just search up Beyond the Ropes.
Rob, I appreciate all the notes that you sent, but did I just read Mark Jindrak thinks he could still go in the ring? Is that what I read? Is that what I read?
That's what you read. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know.
I don't know about that. Wait, well, who's Mark Jindrak? Is that the one?
He was
that the one
in Evolution?
Yeah, like the Chris Master. Yeah. Like Chris
for a second, and then Batista.
He did the mirror thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of someone who can still go, but wants to go, he wants to leave. Yeah, he wants to get out.
He wants to get out. Yeah.
Well, first and foremost, we'll talk the one that's kind of been known for over a couple weeks now. Mustafa Ali We mentioned this last week, I believe. Basically, he went on social media saying that he had requested his release from World Wrestling Entertainment, obviously WWE, and he had been waiting on that release. He still is waiting for that release. As of now, we have not heard anything. Since then, there has been a hashtag Free Ali. You find it anywhere WWE posts something. Basically, he's not being released from his contract. This news came out as well. I don't remember if we talked about this, but apparently he and Vince got into a bit of an argument several weeks back.
Yeah, we kind of did, and I'm like, and I was in shock to hear that.
Because I guess Vince pitched something to him. Ali didn't like it. I'm sure it's probably an insensitive gimmick. I would not be surprised.
It had like, I said it last time we talked about it. As far as I'm concerned, Ali seems like to be like the nicest dude possible, and I just think it had to have been something super outrageous for them for an argument to occur or a disagreement of some sort.
Yeah, so apparently he was sent home shortly after that and has not been seen on TV, I believe, since October 29th was the last time he appeared on television. Could be wrong. Could be sometime in October. Anyways, it's been a couple months. He requested his release. I listened to the Jim Cornette podcast last couple days ago, and he stated, yeah, it's not surprising that he has not been granted his release, because the company does not want to set a precedent that, you could go off announcing that you want to leave, and then, you get your way, basically, because then other people are going to start doing that. So it's understandable as to
even though I don't know where all these people think they're going to go. Like, yes, there's independent and it's independent scene and AEW and all that.
For him, he in his statement, he also did say that he wanted to do something bigger than pro wrestling. So who knows? He might not even be involved in pro wrestling after this. I know he had mentioned, there was a tweet where I guess they were holding opening casting calls for the new Blade movie involving, I believe, a person of his descent, like a role available. So I know he expressed interest in that. Maybe he wants to get into acting. I know he had done some cinematic promos in the past by himself, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets involved in some acting. But anyways, as of now, he is still under a WWE contract, as far as we know. In addition to that, we found out earlier this week, late last week, the man known as Brian Kendrick, current trainer at the Performance Center, apparently requested his release several weeks ago and has yet to be granted it. I know he appeared on NXT 2.0 recently against Harland, or he was supposed to have a match against him. I believe that match got canceled. I know he was attacked by him at one point, and we have not seen him since. It looks like, I don't know, all the NXT trainers are trying to get out of there. We've heard kind of a little bit that morale is a little bit low there, with everyone either getting fired or asking for the release. So it's interesting. We'll see what happens there.
I just think there's like a lot of uncertainty. Like, it's like, again, I think that kind of goes to what I was saying, is like, it's not only that, again, where are they going to go, right? But it's kind of like there's a pandemic. There's, it's like, where else are they going to go? What opportunities are really out there for them right now? I mean, there's probably not a whole lot going on the independent scene. We've seen a lot of different, kind of promotions closing up shop temporarily. But yeah, I mean, they would have to have some sort of bigger plans. And like, again, going back to Ali, like, he's someone who I would think like right now is in his physical prime and has everything in front of him. I mean, again, I think there has to be some way they can make him work and make him into a big deal. Now, maybe him leaving, coming back down the road, maybe that'll help. Who knows? But yeah, I think there's an opportunity for something like that for him in the future. But we'll see. And the thing with both Ali and Brian Kendrick, when you think about it, I mean, they got rid of a whole lot of the 205 Live guys, like a lot of them kind of left. And if, you're talking about some of these guys wishing they were out a couple weeks ago or asked for their release a couple weeks ago, it kind of maybe would line up right when, or if not soon after. You had some of those 205 Live guys get released. Because who's not to say that those guys would be next?
The Cruiserweight Championship was just recently unified with the North American Championship.
Exactly.
So, I think 205 Live is on its last legs. If you're going to have another kind of show or, another showcase for the NXT rosters or whatever, you got to rename it something else. I think 205 Live has ran its course. But yeah, it's interesting to see, that, we've seen several releases over the last couple of years. And those that kind of want the release aren't really getting it. It's interesting. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure eventually either their contracts will come to an end and they won't be re-signed, or maybe they're just waiting for a group, to release another group of superstars, so they could just release them all together. So it's a wait and see game.
Yeah, definitely is. We'll see. We'll see what they do.
So WWE is, seeing a number of superstars leaving. AEW seeing some superstars or wrestlers, however they want to call them, leaving as well.
Mhm.
It was obviously started kind of with Big Swole, as we briefly talked about, I think last month. She wasn't that big. You okay? Look, your shoulder hurts, huh? That booster?
My booster.
I had to get mine stuck. There's the Band-Aid. Look at that. You're putting the booster over.
The booster is over right now. The booster is winning. The booster is looking. The booster is working pretty strong right now.
Oh my God, that's great. All right, Leo Rush.
I'm almost down for the count.
You're almost tapping out there. Leo Rush has announced that his contract or his time with AEW is coming to an end in February. He's signed for like 6 months. I know
very quick. Yeah,
this was
he's the one who retired and everything, right?
That's right. This comes just a couple weeks after he defended Big Swole publicly on Twitter and called out his boss Tony Khan. Apparently, there may not be any hard feelings, but who knows? His contract is coming to an end, and he has not re-signed or is not going to re-sign. Some other names that have kind of been thrown out that have not appeared on AEW Dynamite television. Peter Avalon has also posted, he's available for indie dates, although he's stated that he's still within the company. And most recently, one of my favorites, Marco Stunt, earlier today, posted his availability for independent dates. Most recently made his comeback this past weekend on GCW at the Hammerstein Ballroom, which was a big show for kind of the independent wrestling community. He made us a save for Joey Janela there, throwing a steel chair into Hornswoggle's face. So
good old Hornswoggle still doing his thing. I see.
Yeah, Hornswoggle and the Major Pod Network crew, as they're called, consisting of Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, Chelsea Green, and Smart Mark Sterling, who is also a part of AEW. So, a big show there. But anyways, some interesting names that we might not be seeing on AEW in the coming weeks or months. Interesting to see what happens there. Obviously, AEW has got a new big up-and-coming star here. Let's talk about it. I just sent it to you right before we went on the air, James.
Yeah.
Stay with me.
You gotta fill me in.
Danhausen.
I'm like, what do? I don't know. Okay, so the guy sounds familiar. He also sounds like he sounds like those dress pants brand, but tell me about him. He sounds familiar. Was this the guy who was like the big signee or big free agent kind of deal, like dude from the independent, like a couple weeks ago? I think we talked about. I remember that, right?
No, this is a different guy, I think. He was in Ring of Honor.
Okay, can I go ahead? Okay. Do you know who I thought it was when you sent me the video, and I just thought they changed his name?
Was it Brody King?
No, but I think that might have been the name that maybe we talked about or something. I thought it was Jeff Hardy.
Oh, Jeff Hardy.
I thought it was Jeff Hardy. There was like makeup stuff going on. There's some blondish hair that maybe he cut his hair.
No,
I thought it was Jeff Hardy, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, oh, that's not Jeff Hardy.
No, it's Danhausen. I've talked about him on the show before.
That name sounds familiar.
So he's been around for a couple of years on the independent scene. He's kind of this cross between a Universal Monsters type gimmick, like a Frankenstein, kind of a Frankenstein monster, a Dracula of sorts. Basically, he's very nice, very evil. That's his gimmick. Very nice guy, but he's very evil. His whole thing is trying to get money, So it's a whole thing. But he's become very popular over the last year and a half or so on social media. Even Jim Cornette, he got a cameo from Danhausen, I believe, or saw him. And even Cornette says he's a fan. He would never watch his wrestling because he would hate him, he said. But, but he said,
but
he likes the idea because I think Danhausen mentioned how he uses teeth. He puts teeth in people's mouth, like actual teeth in people's mouth, to help get the victory. It's not cheating technically because you already have teeth in your mouth. So it's technically not a foreign object.
Jeez, what?
That says it's true. He's smart. He's actually pretty smart,
Just keeps said teeth in his pocket. And what happens if his opponent
puts it in the bag, I believe, and then he, puts teeth in the mouth.
So what happens if his opponent already has a full set of teeth?
I mean, he still puts them in his mouth. It's okay. Point is, he puts it in his mouth.
Oh, he's not.
I think he maybe super kicks him. I don't know what he does. But apparently he also he gets money every time CM Punk uses the GTS. Because Danhausen invented the GTS, of course.
Oh, maybe that's why the name's familiar. Maybe it was from that. But wasn't there some other guy who was claiming that too? No,
he didn't invent the GTS. It's part of his gimmick. He's that old though. He's been around for a long time. Claims to have invented the GTS. No, it was Kenta. Kenta, formerly known as Hideo Itami in WWE. Yes, he invented.
Okay.
Yes, but anyways, he's good friends with CM Punk. He's good friends with Orange Cassidy, and he made his debut tonight, killing the career of Adam Cole. As Adam Cole, I believe he looks like he lost to Orange Cassidy. Anyways, we're not.
But wait. You say they killed Adam Cole's career tonight? Then
I mean, it's kind of been a couple of weeks already. It's
kind
of already happened, honestly. I mean, he looks out of shape. He
a couple months, no? I'm
probably
kidding. I don't know.
Probably been a couple since August.
Does he look out of shape?
He looks out of shape. I mean, every time I listen to Cornette, he says he looks smaller and smaller. He looks like he stopped caring. I mean, he's not wrong. I don't know. It's depressing. Anyways, Danhausen, getting back to the star of the show here, Danhausen. I'm a big fan of him. He's a very silly character. I still have to send you his YouTube link. But he's an entertaining character, so he finally showed up on television. Good for him. Hope he makes lots of money. Hope he gets over. So we'll see what happens with Danhausen there. But for the remainder of the show, I think we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. We're going to talk some Rumble stuff, including some anniversaries. Today, 2 years ago, the Rated R Superstar made his epic return to professional wrestling. Obviously, a 9-year absence from the ring due to a career-ending injury. I remember where I was at. I was in this very space, watching that match from my laptop, and it was.
You mean like a little girl?
That's right. Well, this is before I had a Roku device and it could connect it to my television. So
he said, "I want to. Why do you want to see Enzo, Rob? Rob's obviously typing in the chat.
Oh,
I want to see Enzo's what title? What title? What are you talking about?
What title? There's no title. Oh, Enzo's 205. No, that's the worst. Like this, the dark times in 205 Live was Enzo's cruiserweight title run.
No, the dark times are now because it's over.
I mean, at this point, it's a ghost, but we're talking about when it was alive. Anyways, we love the Peacock. We'll talk more about the Peacock and the Rumble right after this quick commercial break, right here on Beyond the Ropes. We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 80.1 FM, KKJZ H23, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 179 of Beyond the Ropes. I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and producer, Rob Flores. Let's get some numbers in, shall we, James?
Yeah, we got some numbers as always, as we do each and every week. This week, a nice little uptick. We'll start with AEW. We'll go with their Dynamite show, obviously their biggest show of their two. Their January 19th show had just over 1 million, so they get over that 1 million mark this past week. And their Rampage show, kind of about where it has been, with 594,000 for their January 21st show. Going over to the WWE shows, NXT actually falls below Rampage this past week, with January 18th episode of NXT coming in with 587,000. You had Raw for the January 24th show with 1.7 million, almost 1.8 million there, and then your new big main WWE show, I guess, your flagship show at this point, pretty much, when you got Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns on there, right? Their SmackDown show for January 21st was 2.2 million. Kind of interesting to see Rampage kind of get the edge there, just by just over 10-12,000 over NXT, considering that AEW's Rampage airs the same day as SmackDown.
It is right after SmackDown, so a little bit later. But yeah, acknowledge Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. They're gonna have a killer match. The Drip God himself, the revolutionary Seth Rollins, looking great as always. Showed up on SmackDown. Always great when we get to see him multiple times a week. I take inspiration of his outfits. You haven't seen me very much because I'm behind the screen here. But when I go out, I'm always flashing my jackets and my style. And
no, he's not. He's lying.
Sir, have you seen? When was the last time you saw me in person? It's been months.
I'm looking in person, yes, but I'm looking at you right now.
I said, not aside from being on the screen, like when I'm out in public and stuff. I'm wearing nice suits.
Why don't you dress to impress on this show?
Because I don't want to make you guys look bad.
I'm hurting.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
I feel like I just got put in to go with today's show. I feel like I've been put in the cross-face chicken wing here. So
the Hurt Lock.
There it is. We the Hurt Lock. Yeah.
And I think Brock Lesnar might be ending up in a Hurt Lock.
Are you wearing Bobby Lashley? Is that what's happening right now?
I think I am. I think.
Wait, why?
I think Bobby Lashley has been underestimated severely by Brock Lesnar over the last few weeks.
He has. He's been calling him Bobby Who. He called him Bobby Who again.
He didn't take him serious in the weigh-in this past week. He wore a cowboy hat. We got cowboy Brock now. A thick coat on. He didn't take anything off. He took his cowboy hat off, but he kept all his clothes on. And then he was saying the headline for Sunday morning, announcing Bobby Who as the new champion.
Yeah.
But I think Lashley's going to pick up the victory here, honestly. And if that happens,
but not clean though, right?
I don't know.
They're going to be the first match, right? You think they're going to be the first match of the night?
I think so, because if that happens, then Brock is probably going to win the Rumble.
Would you be okay with that?
I think that would more than likely happen.
I mean, we got to find a way to get the Roman Brock. Okay, let's talk about it. Do we want Brock and Roman at WrestleMania again?
I would have been fine
because
with
that's the only option right now.
I would have been fine with it at day one when it was originally scheduled.
Yeah.
Not saying I'm against it because I think their feud has been interesting recently. Probably the most interesting it's been that since they've had several. They've had 2 WrestleMania matches beforehand.
That's what I'm saying. They've had like 2 before,
It's gonna happen.
and
We didn't get
it's
it.
pretty much. I mean, it's like anytime both of them are there together on the same card, they're both like. I mean, if they're both in the building, like, didn't Roman skip the WrestleMania the year before,
This
things
is a
like
different.
that. But
This is the different Roman Reigns. This is a different Brock Lesnar.
it is,
Um,
But I don't know.
Whether we want it or not, I think it's gonna happen. We didn't get it at day one, so we have to get it somewhere.
I mean, it seems to be
They're gonna
the
give it away
only
at Elimination
thing.
Chamber.
Yeah, I think so. But would you say it's fair to say maybe unlike last year where I know at least for me I had my wagon hitched to Big E. I thought Big E had a lot of momentum going into it. This time I have no idea.
This time I have no idea, but again, if Brock loses a title, I don't see Roman losing the title. Although they could do something crazy, and they could have him lose the title, but I don't know. I just
I
don't.
just feel like there's kind of a wait, like use it to build somebody. Like you're gonna
Look, I
you're gonna
will.
have Brock lose a title just so he can win the Rumble and ruin an opportunity for somebody else, just so he can then get to Roman. Like they already have a feud. They already have Paul Heyman in common.
You're
They
right.
obviously have had no problem giving him number one contender in the past before with no problem. Like, you know what I mean? I just feel like could they do it? I think they totally could. Like it's totally a possibility. I'm not ruling that out, but I just think I'd rather see Austin Theory win at this point.
I don't know about that, but I would not. Look, I'm definitely on board with someone new winning it. But that being
Mhm.
said, if Lashley wins the title, Brock, I think almost has to win the Rumble at this point. It's going to be a given because they're going toward Roman Brock. I don't think they're just going to drop that story, and it just makes sense for them to have one of them win the Rumble so that they can
Mhm.
face the other at Mania. They have that set up. I understand they
I
could
just
always
feel
set
they're
it up a
behind it.
different way.
Yeah.
I understand they could
It's
always do that,
mhm.
but I don't know. Knowing Vince, knowing what they like to do,
Yeah.
it's
I
probably
mean,
just going to be the obvious decision to have Brock do that, unless maybe they do it at a chamber match, like a qualifying match. But I don't know if they would do that. I would.
it it's just what's out there. Like, where do you go? You know what I mean? It's just like, what do you do? Like, there's it would just be a matter of if it's not Brock and Roman, like I have a good feel for anyone in the Rumble who's like, yep, that he's ready for the main event of
It,
WrestleMania.
it's Brock and Roman. I think that's confirmed for one of the title matches. Basically, we can basically see that. Whether one of them wins the Rumble or not, that's another story. But I think that's what we're gonna get. I don't know what we're getting for the other title match. I think they could go different ways about it. As James is a little frozen here, I'll kill some time there. But it's interesting to see where we're gonna go there. But I think personally, if Lashley does pull out the victory, which is a very high possibility at this point, he's kind of been underestimated by Brock this entire feud. Um, Lashley's the one that takes it serious. I think we're gonna get an upset. You got to have something surprising, something big, and I think Lashley's probably gonna be the one to do it. Um,
Now, what do you think? I don't know. Did you see the talk about Ronda Rousey potentially coming back and going against old girl Becky?
so that's another big story. Let's talk about the women's side of the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about the men. It's up in the air again, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Uh, First and foremost, the Iconics, formerly known as the Iconics, apparently turned down a Rumble spot. Uh,
Shit.
yeah, so that from Britain doors closed. I wonder what other you know surprises we may see. I'm very interested in the Women's Rumble just because
Mhm.
of the possibility of it. They did spoil several names, but there's also a lot of spots available still. And we heard buzz that WWE very much wants to bring back Ronda Rousey. She's kind of been quiet as far as I've seen on social media. I haven't really seen much from her. Becky
Yeah.
Lynch did call her out when this report happened.
Oh,
So here's the thing: I don't know if we're gonna get Ronda Becky at Mania. I
you
think
don't think so?
I think there's still unfinished business with Becky Belair, Becky Liv. I think there's a
Yeah, but
triple
you're not
threat
gonna.
match waiting
I
there.
mean, are you gonna have Belair win the Royal Rumble, or what do you?
You could have Liv win the Rumble.
I mean, I could see that
Liv's
maybe.
pretty popular still. Obviously, she got kind of a bit of a push here with the Becky story. I think
Hmm.
she's someone. I mean, if anyone's gonna do a two back-to-back Rumbles, they haven't done it since I believe was it Austin or was it Sean?
Probably Austin.
It was
Cena
Austin. They
maybe.
did it after. Um,
Cena or somebody did it.
yes, they did mention on commentary. It had been like 20 something years since the last person won back
Mm.
to back Rumbles, and we have yet to see that in the on the women's side. Obviously, the women's side, we've only had like 4 or 5 Rumbles.
Hmm.
So if anyone can do it, I wouldn't be surprised if Bianca Belair were the one to go back to back. And
I agree. I think Bailey's still a possibility to get back into this Rumble, maybe
about
win
Bayley.
it. Huh?
I forgot about Bailey. That's another
Yeah.
thing. There's a lot of
Hmm.
unknown factors in this year's Rumble, which is great. A lot of unpredictability. I think I'm most excited about this Rumble more than any in the past.
Yeah. And the thing for me is I just don't. You hear about the Iconics not wanting to do it. They had to reach out to Mickey James, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. They haven't announced Trish Stratus. I mean, is like much like Lita.
Getting
Maybe that's
ready.
she's been getting ready, but I don't know if those are more so surprises at this point anymore. I mean, it's just kind of like, hey, we're happy to have you in the match. So it's kind of like, who are they getting to fill these spots? Maybe you have Victoria in there
I
again.
have some NXT
I
names, I'm sure.
get some
Toxic
NXT
Attraction.
names in there.
Think Toxic Attraction's a good bet.
I'm sure.
The most
Mm,
beautiful, gorgeous tag team in
mm,
all of professional wrestling. Have you seen them? I
when
think
is the last time she's had a match?
who?
Uh, Mandy Rose.
She just had a match. She just wrestled. They wrestled a 6-woman tag match this past week, sir. They look great. I didn't watch it, but from the clips, have you seen her Instagram? Fantastic.
I mean, I see it every once in a while. I see where
Wow.
she's poolside for different things, but I'm just like, okay, that's great. But
Let her,
I mean,
let
yeah,
her, let her
I
win
think
the
they'll
Rumble, go all the way and win the title. Any
sure.
one of them. Any one of them.
Sure. Why not? I mean, at this point, I just want to see. I think just from that standpoint, I'm curious to see who they do have in it. Because as I saw there's like 15 or so spots. Speaking of the women's Royal Rumble, and of course I mentioned Mickey James a little bit ago. I read something about where Vince or not publicly, but called her personally and apologized once he heard about the trash bag incident, and Mickey made it clear she was.
Is
Go
she
ahead.
coming out in the trash bag or?
She's not coming out in the trash bag, but
Okay,
apparently,
I'll bring my trash bag when she comes out. I'll wave it in the air like a towel.
no, apparently they've kind of cleared the air there, and I think that's part of what's been so big about maybe Mickey wanting to come back. It's just so she can kind of be like, hey, like I don't want my last memory or moment in WWE to be that trash bag thing, right? So obviously, it led to a lot of change with personnel and the way they've handled things. So I think Vince reached out to her, and Mickey said in a report that she accepted the apology and felt Vince was very sincere about it. And she feels like her and Vince always got along great, and that continues to be the case. I believe she's the one who pitched the idea, or just threw it out there and said, "Hey, do you mind if I'm, when I'm in the Rumble or participating, or if it's mentioned that I am the Knockouts champion?" And Vince seemed to not have a problem with that. So, things seem to be well there, and we'll just see where the situation goes going forward. Again, I thought it was interesting that they did try reaching out to Iconics, but again, it's kind of backwards that you're releasing these people, and okay, so maybe you don't have them there for the full year, but then all of a sudden now you want them back. Like, it's kind of weird. So
Yeah, I mean, they clearly stuck up for themselves there, in that sense, hey, we don't need you. We're kind of doing our own thing now. So good for
yeah,
them, I guess. Would it have been nice to see them? Yeah, because, I think we're all big fans of the Iconics. I still have
yep,
our pendants that I
hmm
have over here saved. So,
yep.
um, I look forward to seeing them. I haven't seen them since they left
I think they're
WWE.
an Impact now, right?
They're the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, so they're doing
Hmm
pretty well for themselves. We'll see. We'll see where they go from there. But this year's Royal
Hey,
Rumble is going to be great. Go ahead.
are you caught up to speed on Chad Gable? He seems or Gable, whatever he's going by now. But
At Gable, yeah,
yeah, he was kind of
a stellar
trending a
match.
little bit. Hmm
Stellar match with Randy Orton over here.
Not
Uh,
even the match with Randy. I think it was just the promo stuff before. They had that spelling bee there,
good,
and
good.
it sounded like I think Kurt Angle was trending because they thought either he's starting to remind folks of Kurt Angle back in the
Did
day, but then also people were reflecting on hey, maybe it was a missed opportunity to not have Gable be Angle's son, which was a possibility at the time, but they obviously, of course, went with Jason Jordan on that one. So
Gable showing his abilities in the ring as well.
hmm
With Randy Orton after the fact.
hmm
But no, he was a great promo, and I did think about Kurt Angle when I watched that promo. I watched it last night, I believe.
yeah,
Uh,
I caught some of
so,
the clips of it.
it was good. It was good. And I think they're doing great work. I'm glad that they're the tag team champions. I'm glad they're doing something with Otis and Gable. I think they're both doing great work. Randy Orton doing some great work. He recently had an interview where he is currently 41 years old and stated he would like to retire maybe when he's like 50. So, I mean, if we get 9 more years of the Viper, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
Especially, I think he also made a statement saying, I forget where this was from. He stated he gets along with Riddle so well because Riddle makes his favorite strain. Oh,
Oh,
great.
that's. I mean, it's interesting to see even to see someone like a Randy Orton competing in that spelling bee segment they had there. I thought was
He looked like he
pretty
was having fun.
interesting. Yeah, it did look like he was having fun, and I mean, at this point, I mean, that's all you can do. Just and you're kind of just taking it easy and coasting through, but getting some guys over in the process. So, I think it's all good. There was something else I wanted to mention to you too. Alexa Bliss, have you been keeping up with some of that? Apparently, she's doing because Rob just mentioned in the therapy gimmicks and stuff
He's doing some
that they
therapy.
had that made popular. Yeah, it looks like Alexa Bliss is doing some therapy segments more or less, and is getting a little angry. But sounds like I don't know where are we going with her.
Hopefully something new. Think the
But
whole
what? But what though?
the, I don't know, just something away from whatever she was doing with Bray Wyatt. I think
Hmm
it's time to leave that behind. It doesn't really work as well without him. Um, I,
In a way.
I mean, yeah, in a way, she made it work. She's made it
Hmm
work for her for a while after he left. But I think it's time for something new, something fresh. Um, and we'll talk more about that. But when on next week's
hmm
episode, we're gonna talk Royal Rumble results. We're gonna get details every single match. We're gonna give our final predictions over on Twitter at RealBTR Radio. Make sure you go
hmm
check that out if you have not already. Enjoy the Royal Rumble. But until next time, this episode of BTR has been absolutely too sweet.